My name is Jim Moriarty, and I'm a proud graduate of Lowell High School from the class of 1973. I am also the chairman of the Lowell High School Distinguished Alumni Board of Directors. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this afternoon for the 19th annual ceremony of the Distinguished Alumni of Lowell High. Today's event is to recognize 5 individuals who graduated from Lowell High and who went on to do some extraordinary things. Over the years, we've recognized alumni who've excelled in a variety of fields, ranging from medicine to business. We've also recognized alumni who reached the pinnacle in their field of law, government, education, and humanities. This year's class of Lowell High School Distinguished Alums is no different. We have leaders in sports, law, life science, the military, and business. Each individual has excelled in his or her field, and though their professional paths may be different, what they all have in common is that all their journeys all started here in the halls of Lowell High School. Part of the foundations that led to their success was built from what they learned here, from their relationships they developed with their teachers, their coaches, their fellow students here at Lowell High. We hope you find their stories inspiring and meaningful as you continue your own journey here at Lowell High. It is now my honor to introduce this year's honorees. From the class of 1935, Ray Riddick Jr., represented by his daughter, Margie Miller, and Betty Dick. From the class of 1950, Robert Jarvis, represented by his son, Peter. From the class of 1988, the Honorable Kerry Ahern, Diamondtropolis. From the class of 1991, Mr. Marty Tai. From the class of 2004, Major Tiana Monteo. Please join with me in giving all our honorees a round of applause. Could I ask everyone to please rise for the posting of the colors by our Air Force Junior ROTC cadets and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by the Lowell High School Choir. You may be seated. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the head of the school, Mike Fiato.
Thank you, Mr. Moriarty. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I'm humbled to be among such greatness at Lowell High, not only today, but every day. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize some dignitaries and special guests that are here. Our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Liam Skinner. City Councilor Dan Rourke. I'd also love to recognize all of the LHS staff that were able to be here today who make this happen. And I'd also like to recognize the hardworking committee that's behind all of this. And if I miss anyone, I do apologize, but I'll just read them off. Mr. Brian Martin, Ms. Trudy Mitchell, Ms. Francisco, Mr. Moriarty, and Mr. Thornton. Thank you all for your efforts to make this happen. And like I said, we're in the presence of greatness, and we have some former distinguished alumni who are among us today, and I'd like to recognize them. Robert Bob Leakites, did I say that right? From the class of 1971. We have James Jim Campbell, class of 1962. We have Janet Lambert Moore, class of 1956. We have Titus Plumeritis, class of 1949. And we have George Simonian, class of 1945. So again, I want to welcome everyone to Lowell High School. Those of you who are students, faculty, staff, our invited guests, dignitaries, for being here for this special, special occasion. I am not a Lowell High graduate, but I did graduate from an LHS about 20 minutes east at Lawrence High School. And I always kept an eye on what was happening at Lowell High School from a distance, and very, very impressed with the rich tradition and rich culture and heritage that was inspired as a sister city, having been influenced by the Industrial Revolution. And we're all products of the Industrial Revolution, whether it be through immigration or coming to this part of the region for economic and industrial opportunities. And the folks that are going to be recognized today are part of that legacy for being such a contributor to Lowell, whether it's through philanthropy or being able to give back in many different ways. I had a conversation with one of our guests, Marty Ty, right? We were eating the dinner last night. I said, Marty, it's great to meet you. What are you doing now? And he wanted to talk about, he didn't really want to talk about his professional work. He wanted to make sure that, he knows that, at least I get to recognize that he's doing such a great job with charity work and helping with our youth sports and being a part of the backbone of giving back to the community. So it's not just about a title, it's about what are we doing behind the scenes to make Lowell and continue to make Lowell and our country and state a great place. So there's a lot to learn here today, and that's why our students are here today. We have a packed house of LHS students from freshman to 12th grade. In order for our students to know what to aspire to, they have to have some role models. And before us today, we have some amazing role models. So our students, the reason why we invited you was so that you can see firsthand what some of the members of various classes at Lowell High have accomplished, because they sat right here in the seats that you're sitting in now, and they're back here to be recognized. So I want to thank our students for being an attentive audience today and being able to witness greatness as it happens right now. So again, thank you all for being here, and we'll continue with the program by asking our guests to go back to the front row right there, because we're going to watch a short video, and then we're going to call you back on stage. Thank you.
On December 26, 1831, Lowell High School opened its doors to Lowell's first students. 192 years later, Lowell High School continues on as the first coeducational and racially integrated high school in the United States. Today, Lowell High School is proud to recognize 5 more of its most distinguished alumni. From the class of 1935, Raymond E. Riddick, Sr. From the class of 1950, Robert Jarvis. From the class of 1988, Carrie Ahern Diamantopoulos. From the class of 1991, Marty Ty. From the class of 2004, Tahina Montoya. Each has traveled a very different road in life, and each has a distinctive definition of success. However, there is a common thread in the success of these outstanding people. Each attended and graduated from Lowell High School. Lowell High School moved to its present location in 1840 and consisted of just 10 rooms and a large assembly hall. Soon after, Carolyn Von Vonker became the first African American to graduate from a public high school in the United States. In 1859, James Carney of the Lowell Institution for Savings established the Carney Medal Awards. This honor recognized the top 3 male and top 3 female graduates for excellence in character, scholarship, and attendance. These awards are still presented annually to Lowell High's most deserving students. Lowell High remains as the bedrock for a long list of distinguished scholars, artists, public servants, and athletes. This 2023 class of distinguished alumni carries on the tradition of excellence achieved by the previous 18 classes of inductees. Today, Lowell High School preserves the tradition of excellence begun in 1831 by recruiting the finest teachers while integrating cutting-edge technology into the lives of today's learners. For all our students, much like today's honorees, the journey towards distinction and success begins here at Lowell High School.
All right, I would like the honorees to come back up to the stage, and we'll start the presentation. One of the great features of this event is that we'll have some student leaders who will present the award to the honorees. And I will be calling up first Cameron Durkin, who is a member of the National Honor Society and captain of the football team, to bestow our first award.
Raymond Riddick Sr., class of 1935. Raymond Riddick Sr. is a true distinguished alumnus of Lowell High School. His impact was seen as helping so many young people achieve and exceed their goals and dreams. He brought joy, pride, and success to a city where it needed it most. Ray chose to stay in the city he loved, Lowell. It is my pleasure to introduce his daughters, Margie Miller and Betty Dick.
Good afternoon to you all, to the 2023 Distinguished Alumni inductees, to the faculty, to the staff, to the dignitaries, and especially to all the Lowell High School students. It is exciting to be here for such a special occasion. I am Marjorie Riddick Miller, daughter of Raymond D. Riddick Sr. My family and I wish to express our heartfelt thanks to the Lowell High School Distinguished Alumni Selection Committee for choosing Raymond D. Riddick Sr. as a 2023 Distinguished Alumnus. Of the many accomplishments in his lifetime, I know this recognition would mean the most to him. He would be humbled and honored. It is a privilege to accept this honor from my dad, Ray Riddick. A definition of distinguished is the following: a quality or achievement that makes someone worth respect. And so, distinguished truly describes my father, Raymond D. Riddick Sr. So often the name Ray Riddick is associated with athletic excellence, but my dad was more than a Green Bay Packer or a hugely successful football coach. His community enjoyment was a major part of his influence, and he loved and embraced the city of Lowell and always believed in giving back. He chaired many charities, was on numerous boards, and spoke frequently to the Greater Lowell community organizations to inspire young and old. He impacted many young men to achieve and to exceed their dreams. Coach Riddick brought joy, pride, and success, as was stated earlier, to a city when it needed it the most. In spite of opportunities to go to college and professional positions, Ray Riddick stayed in the city he loved, Lowell. My dad often said that coaching was never work to him, and his greatest joy was helping his players to further their education. He emphasized the positive impact sports have on individuals. and values that last a lifetime. My dad's untimely passing at 58 was a great loss. However, his legacy continues. In 1976, the Raymond D. Riddick Scholarship Fund was established. For the past 47 years, over 50 worthy Lowell High School seniors have received over $300,000 in scholarships. My father continues to give back. My family and I are deeply grateful for Raymond D. Riddick Sr. being selected for this tremendous honor, a 2023 Lowell High School Distinguished Alumnus. Thank you.
Our next student will be Vol Thongmong, president of the senior class, member of National Honor Society, and captain of the varsity soccer team.
Robert Jarvis, class of 1950. Robert Jarvis was a true community businessman and philanthropist. Throughout his career, he was involved in various organizations and institutions that benefited many people. He has always treated every employee and acquaintance exactly how he would want to be treated. It is my pleasure to introduce Robert's son, Peter Jarvis.
Unfortunately, my eyes aren't as good as Margie's. First of all, thank you to Lowell High School and the community of Lowell for honoring my father such today. But let's get down to telling you a few things about him. First, he and his 6 siblings were children of the Great Depression. He was dyslexic and struggled to read at a time when no one knew what dyslexia was. His father died while he was a student here at Lowell High. And he was very humble and really didn't want to be recognized for anything. He was a gentleman, loved family, friends, cars, boats, Lowell, dogs, but the cat, not so much. It was due to the life disciplines that he and his brothers learned here at Lowell High: hard work, perseverance, respect for others, loyalty, trust, patience, and teamwork that made them succeed. Basic principles of life taught by his mother, Margaret, and the teachers that he had here at Lowell High, Mr. Noonan, Mr. Conway, and the others. You all may have heard of the success, such as the dealerships, but they started with the relationships and teachings that went right here in these rooms and hallways here at Lowell High. It wasn't always easy and took long hours away from the family, but Robert and his brothers, Stephen, Jack, Phil, and David, did what was necessary. When their father died, and he and Phil suddenly went to work shoveling coal in McGowan's on Gorham Street after school. It was there that they had to support a family and learn what the value of a dollar was and what it took to make ends meet. Robert did 2 years of service in the Army during the Korean conflict. That was after high school, and then returned back to Lowell. It was then that he found work in Chicago, selling automotive mufflers, returning to Lowell on weekends for spaghetti dinners that his mother would hold for the neighborhood. In 1961, their hard work and determination and ambition paid off. 2 Lowell bankers, Omer Bourgeois and Bill Levine from Appleton Bank in Lowell, saw fit to give the brothers a loan to buy a Dodge dealership in the town of Air, even though they had little or no money down. They didn't waste the opportunity and proved the men right. My mother still has the original paperwork at the house. Today, those stores have become a supporter of local causes, such as the Boys and Girls Club, a home and an employer for 125 families from the area. As was stated by longtime Lowell resident Harold Waterhouse, when you go to work for the Jarvises, you become part of the family. And we have 2 employees who have been with us over 50 years as a fact of that, Al Lacasse and Mark Fermanian. Also 2 Lowell High grads, John Martin, who's been with us 40 years, and Joe Pereira, over 30. Ours is a true Lowell family story, one that is formed on the lifelong friendships and family and friends that were met here at Lowell High. And for that, the entire Jarvis family is eternally grateful. Thank you.
Our next student presenter is Ayla Pacheco, National Honor Society, captain of the varsity crew team, student council, and pep club member.
Carrie Ahern, class of 1988. Carrie Ahern is presently the first justice of the Essex Juvenile Court. She has represented juveniles in delinquency and youthful offender matters and represented children and parents in CRA and care protection cases. Carrie resides in Lowell with her husband Paul and their 2 children, Drew and Lily. Please welcome the Honorable Carrie Ahern.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by congratulating my fellow inductees and their families. It's a privilege to share this day with all of you. It's very special to look out and see people here today who have been an important part of my life over the years. Thank you all for being here. I'm truly honored and humbled to be recognized as a Lowell High School distinguished graduate. After receiving the news, I took some time to reflect upon my years at Lowell High School, what it means to be a Lowell High School graduate, and what it means to be a Lowell kid in general. I think growing up in the city of Lowell gives you a certain perspective and an outlook on life. It's been said that Lowell kids are built a little bit different, and I think there's honestly a lot of truth in that. There's a certain level of grit and perseverance that comes along with growing up in this city. There's also a sense of community that is second to none. People that grow up in Lowell develop friendships that last a lifetime. There is a loyalty and a commonality that binds us for life. A few years ago, 5 of my friends and I planned a trip for our 50th birthday. Several of my coworkers inquired, "So are you going away with your law school friends?" "Nope," I said. They said, "Are you going away with your college friends?" "No," I said. "I'm going away with my elementary school friends." They looked at me like that was the strangest thing they had ever heard. But those are the lifelong connections that are bred in Lowell. They are the friendships that are hard to quantify. They are the people that show up and support you in the toughest of times. They are the friends who show up at your door with food when one of your parents is in the hospital. They are the individuals who stand in line for 3 hours at a wake for your loved one. They are the neighbors who take out your trash or mow your lawn or drop off cookies simply because it's a nice thing to do. That doesn't ever happen everywhere, but that happens in Lowell. Growing up in Lowell and attending the Lowell Public Schools teaches you life lessons. I've learned many over the years that have guided me in my career. I'd like to share a few with you today. One, and I take this from the pages of one of my favorite Lowell High School wrestling coaches, Coach Bossy. No offense, Mr. O'Keefe. Life lesson number 1, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I'm certainly not even close to being the smartest judge in the Commonwealth. But what I do know is that I turn on the lights on the 3rd floor of the Fenton Judicial Center in Lawrence every morning. That's because I'm the first one there. I've learned that if you put in the extra hours and work really hard, you can compete with almost anyone. Number 2, and it's a Maya Angelou quote that I have hanging in my office. It says, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." I try to be thoughtful about this when I'm sitting on the bench every day. People come into my courtroom on what is most often the worst day of their life. Their children have been removed due to allegations of abuse or neglect. Their child is struggling with a mental health crisis. A young person has been charged with a serious crime. Fair to say that people don't come into my courtroom because something good has happened in their life. My goal is to treat everyone with respect and dignity and always give them a chance to be heard. I try to be compassionate and kind always because I have learned that everyone in life is fighting a battle that you may know nothing about. Lastly, and maybe for me as a juvenile court judge, the most important, I have learned that every child is one caring adult away from being a success story. Part of my job entails doing what we call permanency chats with kids who are aging out of the foster care system. One question I often ask them during these chats is, who is your person? And they often look at me and say, well, what do you mean? And I respond, who is your person that you're going to call in the middle of the night if you're stuck somewhere and you need a ride? The answers always amaze me. It's often a teacher, a coach, or a parent's friend. Or, I'm sorry, a friend's parent. So to the teachers and the coaches out there, never underestimate the role that you can play in building up and supporting a child. Because if you can help that child, we don't have to spend years repairing that adult. To the students here today, enjoy your years at Lowell High School. They certainly go by much too quickly. Always be proud that you are a Lowell kid and a product of the Lowell Public Schools. Wear it like it's a badge of honor, because it is. I actually have a mug on my desk that I received when I graduated from Lowell High School. It holds my pens. I've had many meetings where people have seen it and asked, oh, you went to Lowell High School? And I always respond with a proud, yes, I'm a Lowell girl. In closing, I want to congratulate again my fellow inductees. I want to thank the board for nominating me. I want to thank my parents, my siblings, and my extended family and friends for always supporting me. It's been said that family is a life jacket in the sometimes stormy sea of life, and I've found that that is very true. I especially want to thank my husband, Paul, and my children, Drew and Lily, who are all Lowell High School graduates. Paul almost didn't make it a couple of times, but as I think about people that help kids through their career, he had a couple coaches and teachers who really showed him his path. The work I have done during the past 30 years has been incredibly sad at times, but I've always been so blessed to come home to the three of you who always put a smile on my face and make all the sadness melt away. I love you guys. Thank you.
Our next student presenter is Aiden Milanazzo, captain of the varsity football team and a member of the varsity track and field team.
Marty Ty, class of 1991. Marty Ty served as the class secretary for the class of 91. His commitment to community shines through his roles as president and coach for Lowell Junior High Athletics since 2010. He's been involved with the Greater Lowell Boys and Girls Club since 2018. He and his wife, Jennifer, are the parents of 4 children, 2 of which have graduated from LHS. Please welcome Marty Ty.
That's pretty good. Aiden, thank you. Aiden's a former Lowell Junior High guy himself. Tough kid, played the game right, represented the team on and off the field well. Something we asked for, Aiden, making us proud, buddy. So thank you for this opportunity and honor. It's really, truly amazing. I'm overwhelmed to even be considered with past honorees and the current class of honorees. I've been involved with Lowell football since I've been 8 years old and still am involved for this day. And so for over 40 years, have been walking Machado Field and Colley Field, and every year as we tell kids, as they put on their jersey with Lowell on the front, we tell them that there's a standard of hard work in the way that you have to conduct yourself on and off the field, and it's a standard set forth by folks like Coach Riddick. It's something we say every year, and it's amazing to even be brought up in the same universe as him. So to the Riddick, Miller, and Dick family, it's truly an amazing honor. So I want to thank also my sister-in-law, Allison Dolan, who put in the application. She went to Emerson College, and they must have an amazing creative writing program. Thanks, Al. You know, when we talk to kids, I say that it's important, and you know, in talking, listening to Carrie and listening to Tiana, you kind of stole my thunder, but I say you have to find your people, you have to find your passion, and you'll find success. In my life, when I was a kid, my mom passed away, and I was lost a little bit. I might have been in some of the same classes as Carrie's husband, Paul. And so I needed to find my people, and I was lucky enough to have two families that really stepped up, the Conlin and the Cregan families, and two women that were a big part of my life, Noreen Conlin and Judy Cregan. And without those folks, it wouldn't have worked out. I also had the pleasure at 8 years old of stumbling onto a football field. And I was in class doing the wrong things, probably a little bit too aggressive and getting in a lot of trouble. I walked onto a football field and I found what I should have been doing. I had coaches that showed me what hard work was, what commitment to a team was, what being a good citizen on and off the field was, and how to be successful in life. And without that, too, I wouldn't have made it. I found my people. I have friends that played with me on that team. In fact, Carrie's brother and husband, guys that I can turn to under any circumstance and ask them for help, and they know that I will do vice versa. It's important in life to find your people. Secondly, I think it's important to find your passion. As I said, my mom had passed away from cancer when I was a little kid, and I watched her struggle with it for years before. It's something I think about every day, and it's something that helps me drive decisions in what I want to do on a daily basis. I knew that I went to Trinity College, and I didn't have the money or the brains to become a doctor, so I figured I could do sales. I got involved with that and ultimately landed in a company called Celgene, and now BMS, and I've been there for 22 years. We have worked in hematology, specifically multiple myeloma. I started when the survival was at 2 years, and I've been a very small part of educating the folks in the Northeast on therapies that we have brought. We currently have brought 5 different agents into that market, and the survival now is 8 to 10 years, and I'm very proud to be a small part of that. The company is now working on and has bringing to market some space-age technology called chimeric antigen receptor T cells, where they take a patient's own T cells, bring them to a manufacturing plant, re-engineer those T cells to recognize multiple myeloma, and then re-inject them back in the patient to fight the disease. Hopefully, in the near future, that 8 to 10 years will be twofold. I was a very small, tiny part of that. And so I say find your passion, because do something beyond the paycheck. Do something that drives you every day. Do something that makes you proud to do, and do something when you wake up in the morning you can't wait to do. Also, in regard to following passion, as I am, like Carrie, an unapologetic Lowell guy, and I say I am to anyone I will meet. And I've learned in these halls to interact with anybody, from CEO's kids, is that me? I'm sorry. So CEO kids to kids like myself, a bricklayer's son. I've taken those to college and beyond in my professional life, and I'm proud to tell anybody that I'm from Lowell, and I feel like I can have a conversation with anyone there is. I also believe that you need to give back to your city. Some people may say I'm a creature of habit. In these halls at center field at College Stadium, although she may not recognize that, I met my wife. We've been together now since I've been 18. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank you, Jenny. And so I also live in the house I grew up in, and I've worked at the same company for 23 years. So as an unapologetic Lowell guy, I look back on the things that impacted me in my life, and it was just that, finding your people and your passion. I got involved with an organization, Lowell Junior High Athletics. We have grown that quite a bit. It's over 20 years now. I've been involved for over 15. We provide free sports to kids in the city, any kid. We find a way to make it happen. And we do what I said earlier, what was learned and what we tell from Coach Riddick, and that give great amount of effort, be a good citizen on and off the field, rep your city and your family proudly. I also learned, and I was a member of the Lowell Boys and Girls Club when I was a kid growing up, and I learned that as I worked with some kids at the junior high athletic organization, I realized that a lot of kids were going to the Lowell Boys and Girls Club, and they were getting meals, college counseling, they would get study halls, life advice. The organization is amazing. So I decided to get involved with the Lowell Boys and Girls Club. I've been a board member for the last 5 years, and we're currently in the middle of a campaign to raise funds for a new building. We've completed one portion of that, which is repurposing the pool, and that will provide the organization an opportunity to provide twice as many meals to kids in the city, from 300 to 600. In addition to that, we broke ground on a new building to the left of it, overlooking Clemente Park and the canal, which will be the teen center, again, providing opportunities for more and more kids. I'm a club kid, and I want more kids to be club kids because it changes people's lives. I've been lucky enough to find my people and my passion, and I encourage you to do the same. What I learned in the halls of Lowell High School is to respect everybody and everyone you meet. I was in Mr. Moore's class, which was downstairs, American history, when I was a junior in high school. He was talking about the internment camps during World War II following Pearl Harbor. It was an amazing experience. It's one of the best learning opportunities I had as a student in high school or college. He separated the class in two, and he told the folks to debate for the pros and cons of the internment camps, which were imprisoning Japanese Americans on the West Coast. There were the usual arguments back and forth, but at the end, Mr. Moore made an impassioned plea to understand and respect the dignity and the perspective and the learnings that each individual culture and different people can bring to this country. He reminded us that this country was founded on the diverse perspectives of folks from all over the world. As a son whose mother immigrated here from Ireland, it rang true. It was one of the best learnings I've ever had in my life, and I remember that to this day. Know that, and Tiana, I hope I don't steal your thunder, but know that in these halls you're learning a lesson of respect. You're learning from one another. Without even knowing it, your best lessons are learned from interacting with one another. Lowell High School is a place where you learn life lessons that you will take with you for the rest of your days. I urge you to find your people, find your passion, and the world is a great opportunity. The future is endless, and you too will be up here someday addressing a group as a distinguished alumni. Because I'll tell you what, I have 4 brothers, and if they ask the teacher, which one of these guys is going to be up on the stage, I don't know if I'd finish in the top 5. But anyway, thank you for the honor. I really appreciate it, and go Raiders.
Our next student presenter is Cadet Colonel Donna Youssef, Mass 771 JROTC Wing Commander, a member. I'm not finished yet. Obviously, she's in the JROTC program, but she's also a member of the Chess Club and student advisor to the Random Acts of Kindness.
Good afternoon. Taina Montoya, class of 2004. Taina, can you hear me? Taina Montoya was the first Latina to graduate from the Latin Lyceum program. A 4J ROTC cadet, a member of mock trial, and captains of the swim, gymnastics, and crew teams. Taina is currently a major in the Air Force Reserves. She is most thankful for the unwavering support of her husband, her parents Elkin and Darmeri Montoya, and her brother Marcelo Montoya, class of 2012. Her favorite title is Mom. Please welcome Major Taina Montoya.
Sorry, I'm rather short. Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here with all of you today. Buenas tardes. Es un honor estar aquí con todos ustedes hoy. First, I'd like to congratulate all the distinguished alumni and thank the committee for this humble recognition. I'm first-generation Colombian American and the proud daughter of two very hardworking immigrants, Elkin and Darmeri Montoya, who are here today. I also want to recognize my brother, Marcelo, LHS class of 2012, and my aunt Virman, who are here and have always been so supportive. And to my husband, Eduardo, a proud Latino, who is taking care of our children, Leandro and Luciano, so that I can be here today. Soy primera generación colombiana americana y la hija de dos inmigrantes trabajadores, Elkin y Darmeri Montoya, que están aquí con nosotros hoy. También quiero reconocer a mi hermano Marcelo, que se graduó de la Lowell High en 2012, y mi tía Virman, que están aquí hoy y que siempre me han apoyado. Y también quiero reconocer a mi esposo Eduardo, que está cuidando a nuestros hijos, Leandro y Luciano, para yo poder estar aquí hoy. I graduated Lowell High School in 2004, and during my time in Lowell High, I'd like to think that I took full advantage of what Lowell High School has to offer. This included the Latin Lyceum, mock trial, the international and Spanish clubs, as well as the swimming, gymnastics, and crew teams. But the organization that undoubtedly changed my life was Junior ROTC. I'm sorry. Oh, gosh, I was trying to get through this without crying. Junior ROTC helped me find a smaller community within a much larger school. It gave me amazing mentors, including Sergeant Smith, who's still here. It gave me a solid group of friends who I just had dinner with last night, and it solidified morals and values that I also learned at home. This specifically included teaching me the Air Force core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Sorry. Values I try to live by every single day. I remain forever thankful for Junior ROTC as it teaches students to become citizen soldiers who become leaders in their community through military and civilian service, and instills a sense of responsibility and pride in finding the smallest of ways to give back. Just yesterday, as part of our 7th annual Junior ROTC Career Day, 10 Junior ROTC and Lowell High School alumni spent the entire day speaking to all 170 students of Junior ROTC about how Junior ROTC set them up for success in both military and civilian careers. Naturally, this included people who had served and are still serving their country, but it also included an engineer, a bilingual journalist of NBC and Telemundo, a National Park Service ranger turned entrepreneur, a deputy chief court officer, a police officer, EMT, and 3 firefighters. All of them spoke about how Junior ROTC changed their life and how helping others has become a central part of who they have become. In thinking through the best way to use this brief time that I have with you all, I'd like to offer small tidbits that have helped me navigate life in and after high school. And to be super cheesy, I'm going to use the acronym Junior ROTC. J for judgment. Use good judgment in determining who your real friends are. Identify those who are there to help you succeed and be mindful of those who only seem to set you back. R, respect. Respect those who are here to help you, but this also means respect yourself. This doesn't mean fighting those who disrespect you. It means having the self-control to know when an action is going to hurt you more than it will others. Respect your body, respect your mind, respect your heart, and hold yourself up to the standard you expect from others. O, opportunity. There are so many opportunities in this community, but it will not land on your lap. There are not opportunities owed to you by anyone. You need to put in the work to show others you deserve these opportunities. Ask questions, seek advice, do the research, and give yourself a chance. T, tenacity. The ability to hold on to something despite setback and obstacles, firmly, persistently, and with determination. Despite your mistakes or challenges, hold on to your dreams with tenacity. The road may be longer and may have several detours, but with tenacity, with determination, you will get there. And last, C, courage. Courage doesn't come without fear. Quite the opposite. Courage is being afraid and doing it anyways. Have the courage to break through the expectations others have set for you and think more about what expectations you have for yourself. The best part of these insights is that these principles, they're completely free. They don't require wealth or social status and are tidbits that anyone here today, regardless of age, language, religion, race, ethnicity, or gender, can strive to incorporate into their ethos. They are principles and concepts that I learned within these walls and are ones that have helped me navigate life beyond high school. Though brief, what I hope you take from this morning is the importance of having good judgment, respecting others and yourself, leveraging opportunities, having tenacity, and being courageous. I am so excited to see the great things that all of you are going to do, the future leaders of our community and our country, and excited to see what you all accomplish in the future. Thank you.
I really don't know what to say. It gets better every year. Congratulations. Since we're ahead of schedule, we have some time for some questions. So let me give Margie a mic. You get the first one. So, for Coach Riggett, what did he love most working about Lowell High School, and what would you say his greatest accomplishment was? Do you want Betty to answer this one?
Well, you didn't give me the question beforehand.
I'm sorry. I should have given it to you.
What did he like the most about
Most
coaching?
about the high school.
He liked the youth of. He had opportunities to coach elsewhere, but he loved high school football because the players played for the love of the game and not for anything else. And what was the rest of the question?
What would he be most consider his greatest accomplishment?
His greatest accomplishment. I would like to say his children, but that would be a little.
That'd be perfect. Want to
Okay.
pass that to Mr. Jarvis? Peter, what would you say Dad's felt was the paramount in running a successful business?
What was that again?
What was the most important thing of running a successful business?
The people, plain and simple.
Yeah. Well, you explained loyalty over 50 years. You have 2 employees, and Mr. Martin, a Lowell High graduate, is 44 years, if I remember
Yes,
correctly.
that is. But it was developing people from being from the wash bay to becoming managers to being lifelong friends and employees is what it becomes.
So you're the mentor, you'll guide them all the way, you give them an opportunity to succeed, and as they succeed, you promote them and continue on.
Yes, if it means going out on their own and starting their own business at some point in time, that's a good thing.
That's tremendous. Thank you. You want to pass that to Kerry? The Honorable, working in the court system, what seems to be the most rewarding part of your job or your career so far?
So as I alluded to earlier, I'm really blessed to be working in the juvenile court system. When I applied to be a judge, I applied to be a district court judge and a juvenile court judge, and through the process, I had to really decide which area I wanted to go. And I think in the juvenile court, if you're going to make a difference, that's the place that you're going to do it. Working with kids and families and the people that I get to work with every day, the probation officers, the clerk's office, the court officers, the lawyers that I get to work with every day are all incredibly committed to the kids and families that we work with and making sure that they're successful. So I feel really blessed that I have a great team around me to work with every day. Sometimes I say I'm the quarterback and I get to call the shots, but at the end of the day, it really takes a team for things to work smoothly and for kids to get all the services that they need to be successful.
Thank you. Marty, I've got a discussion for you afterwards, but this is a question.
Am I in trouble?
Why do you think it is so important for people to volunteer and give back to the community?
Well, for me, I've gained so much from this community of Lowell. I found it that it was a duty for me to come and do that. And, you know, I get as much from the kids as I guess they would get from me. So it's energetic for me as well.
Excellent. Major? Obviously, the ROTC program here at Lowell High had a major influence on your life. What's one thing you learned in the program here that you've carried on for all these years?
I don't think the challenge is going to be what I learned from the program. I think the challenge is choosing one. Gosh, I think that it's easy to assume that I had a easy time throughout Lowell High, and I think junior ROTC allowed me the space to make mistakes and to learn through those mistakes. I think you learn more from mistakes than you do always getting it right the first time around, and junior ROTC provided a safe environment for me to make mistakes and slip up and learn and grow as a person and a leader, and it's one of the many reasons why I'm so thankful for the program.
Excellent. Thank you. This is an open question for any of you, and you can pass it on if somebody else has a comment on it. What advice would you give these students for their future? Who wants to go first? Marty would stay out of detention.
So I would suggest finding a mentor, find somebody that you can talk to, ask questions of in a career that, as Marty alluded to earlier, I think finding a career that you have a passion for and that you want to get up and be a part of every day, but find somebody in that field that you can call a mentor, somebody that you can attach to their coattails and really follow them and ask them questions and give you guidance along the way. I've had the good fortune to have some tremendous mentors through the course of my career, and I think it's a really important way to find your path.
I would say to kids, do what you enjoy. Because if it's enjoying going into whatever your life work is every day, it makes it much easier and it makes it more fun, which is much more rewarding, and having a mentor, like Kerry said, is always a big thing.
Anyone else?
I would say, you know, a big part of being successful is showing up. I said, hey, be there and be there early and bring your best self forward.
It's so funny. Could I just interrupt, Marty? That's the exact same answer Jimmy Conway gave X number of years ago. Show up with a good attitude, and you're ahead of 50% of the people. Major?
I think in high school it's a great opportunity to explore things that might be of interest to you and being able to redirect based on whether you or not you like those. My input or my recommendation would be just be mindful of consequences, good and bad. And whatever decisions you take are going to have consequences. And some are going to be good and some of them are going to be bad. And if you, in your heart of hearts, and I tell this to my brother and to my children, if you in your heart of hearts made a decision with the best of intentions, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with those consequences, whether they're good or bad. And so with that, just be true to yourself, be mindful of the consequences, and if it comes from within you, then it's going to be a lot easier to deal with the consequences and the results of that.
Thank you. Margie, you want to comment about that, or you want to be the first question on the next one? Well, all right, why don't you pass that down to Margie? And we're going to change the question, and we're going to ask, Margie, what was your favorite memory from Lowell High School? Or would you could pass it to Betty if you want.
Well, I just had my 60th high school reunion, and I'm still talking to many of my friends, and I had some wonderful friendships, some wonderful experiences, and I lived in the shadow of Coach Riddick, so I couldn't do too much.
All I've heard is the stories you and your sister had to behave because Coach Riddick.
Yes, that was a factor. And I could go anywhere I wanted to after Lowell High as long as I was home every night. Any college in the United States, but I had to return to 550 Wilder Street.
One thing, I just have to laugh at the scholarships were mentioned. Last scholarship award, Brian Martin was giving his sister's award, Kathy, and she was told by her parents she could go to any college she wanted as long as she could walk to it. So, Peter? Favorite memory? Since you didn't go here?
Yes, I know.
And we don't know all the stories about...
I think it goes along just being a kid from Lowell, along with Kerry and Marty said. It's not the friends from college or high school, or for my case, high school or professional life that I hang out with. It's the kids I grew up with. And the friends you will make in the years of growing up in high school are the ones that are going to last a lifetime.
Kerry? Favorite memory?
So I might share my least favorite memory.
Sure, absolutely. Margie wants it back. She.
So this might go back to my being a little bit of a Lowell girl. My second week at Lowell High School, I was in the cafeteria, and there was an older boy who was a junior, and he was dipping his french fries in ketchup and whipping them at me in the cafeteria. So I got a little bit irritated, and I took my chocolate milk, and I went over and poured it over his head. And the next thing I knew, I had a teacher that had their hand on the back of my neck, and I was escorted down to the housemaster's office, and I got suspended. So my parents weren't very thrilled that I was suspended my second week at Lowell High School.
And who was your housemaster at the time?
Mr. O'Brien.
Yep.
Yep. My favorite memory might be in high school, the basketball team, I think it was my senior year, played at the Garden. So a bunch of my friends and I, they went to the state championship. We took the train in, and we were able to see all our friends play at the Garden, which was a pretty cool experience.
Amazing.
Yep.
Same question.
Yeah, same question, Marty.
Well, I already mentioned it, meeting my bride.
Okay, I have two things. One that I learned a really big lesson from, and then the other one was is regarding a sense of empowerment. And in both, my parents are going to kill me, so sorry, Mommy and Papi. There was a boy that I happened to like in high school. My mom knows where this is going. And I promised her, I asked her if I went swimming every single day of the week, if I could miss on Friday to go to the boys' birthday party. And she said yes, and so I went swimming, and Friday came, and I dressed up for the birthday party, and as we're driving by the boys' house, my brother is really embarrassed right now because he knows what I'm gonna say. My mom said, I said, Mom, you're passing his house, and she's like, well, I decided you're not gonna go. And I look at her, jokingly of course, and I go, well, I'm gonna jump out of the car. And she goes, very Colombian, Tahina, you're not gonna jump out of the car. So what did I do? I opened the door, and I jumped out of the car. Wait. But wait. It didn't come with consequences. It didn't come without consequences. That road, listen, what you see in the movies is not true. I hit that road hard, and I showed up to the birthday party, but I was bleeding from my knees, bleeding from my face. But what's the lesson from here? The lesson from here is consequences, and the lesson is my mom never told me that I couldn't do something, and consequently, I'll never jump out of a car again. So, and then the other one was, and this is the self-empowerment and what I hope you get from this is your voice. My dad almost killed me with this one. I got a 4-year junior ROTC scholarship. Actually, Tech Sergeant Smith will probably almost kill me too. I got a 4-year Air Force scholarship offer from UMass Lowell, which I was very, very thankful for and very excited about, but I was very committed to just seeing the life outside Lowell before coming back. And so, despite everyone's advice, I said, thank you so much, Colonel of the UMass Lowell. I said, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. It's an honor, I have to say no. And Chief and all the junior ROTC folks and my parents, they were like, Tahina, you're stupid, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? And I was like, that's it, what did I do? I hit and then the very next day I got a call from Norwich University saying, hey, the colonel from UMass Lowell called us and we're willing to do a 1-for-1 swap and give you a 4-year scholarship to Norwich. And so stick to yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and pleasure to enter the class of 2023 Lowell High School Distinguished Alumni.